could be a disaster if the tender makes a mistake.
He's probably just talking madcap, you know.
All of the pressure from the water on the other side coming out of the lake is pushing against that dam and that lock. So there was literally a tunnel of current that we were having to deal with while the engine's running, 6 to 8 knots of current.
I don't think that we scraped the boat on the concrete too hard. I don't think we did too much damage. He was on the radio again. He was yelling, "Time to go!"
Thanks, asshat. If you're watching this, you're a dick.
Is that a blast off? A blast just happened.
Welcome to Sovereign Sea. I'm Becca, and this is my husband Tim and our 2 deck paws, Hazel and Sally. In July of 2023, we bought an abandoned trawler off Craigslist for $15,000, and we spent the next 8 months restoring her from this to this, and we still have a ways to go. Join us as we create a sovereign life on the water, enjoying destinations along America's Great Loop and beyond, all while doing all of the jobs ourselves. We're happy to have you on board. Let's figure it out together as we go.
And so I'm gaining a little bit of confidence because the couple days prior to this, we had been through those 2 locks and everything went perfectly smooth.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna grab a couple lines and it's gonna be okay. And I wasn't, I was definitely anxious, but I was trying to just quell my fears and do what the captain told me to do.
It turned out to be a mistake. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to talk about how a lock works. A lock is used to get to adjust the depths on both sides of a drop. The drop can be a few feet, it can be a large amount, but there's a dam typically, and there's spillways on the dam, and then the lock is another spillway that's under the control of a lock tender, right? So in this case, on the west side of the Okeechobee Waterway at the St. Lucie Lock, from the west side to the east side is a 14-foot drop. So if there was no lock and there was no dam, there would be a 14-foot vertical drop, a waterfall, basically. So they put a dam and they put a lock there. There's no more 14-foot waterfall, but all of the pressure from the water on the other side coming out of the lake is pushing against that dam and that lock. So when you go to lock in, they open the lock doors, they flood it so that the water level comes up, you pull your boat in, you tie off, they close the doors behind you, they open the doors in front of you, the water level regulates 14 feet down to the level you need to be at, and then you undock, you drive out, and they close it up and start the whole process over again for the next boat to come through. Right? So that's how a lock works, which is why I should have, in hindsight, had her do the aft line instead of the forward line.
Yeah. And honestly, in all of the other locks that we had been through, it really wouldn't have mattered. And so it was just sort of lack of experience, and also my anxiety doesn't help. If I had been calmer, maybe he wouldn't have second-guessed his initial instinct, which is sometimes what you should trust. So, anyways, but we had just watched, like I said, the day before, a bunch of boats go through. They, closed up the front wall, let all the boats in, opened up the back wall, let all the boats in. Everybody got nice and situated and safely tied off, and then they closed it up, locked him through, everybody left in a nice orderly fashion. So when I remembered that one of my buddies back at the yard had said that he had some issues with the lock tender at that lock, making things a little complicated for him, I was like, he's probably just talking madcap. You know, this lock is chill. I just watched it, and it was fine. So we're the only boat locking through. And so I'm like, okay, at least we don't have to worry about hitting anybody. We're going in, nice and slow. Everything's normal. I grab the bow line, get it temporarily cleared off just so I can run and get an aft line. During that time, when I look back, I realize that we're already cockeyed, like at a 45-degree angle in the lock because of how much pressure is coming. And in that moment, when I look back, I realize the doors are already almost completely shut. They were almost completely shut, and we hadn't got one line tied off yet.
Still the engine
Our
running.
engine was still on. We were still moving actively. The propeller was still turning. We were still getting situated, and the doors were almost completely closed. And that just really caught me off guard because I've never experienced that in a lock. Even if we're the only boat in there, they don't just let you in and then send it, you know? That's not typical practice, at least not to my knowledge. Maybe in some places they do that, or maybe if they're gonna do it, they let you know. But none of that.
Oh, not only were the back doors that we came in through, the doors that we came in through, not only were they closing, the forward doors, the ones in front of us, were opening. So there was literally a tunnel of current that we were having to deal with while the engine's running. We don't have a single line tied off, not a single line tied off safely and securely. And he has the back doors closing, increasing the pressure, while the front doors are opening, which gives that water a place to go, which creates a 14 feet drop, whatever speed that was. I mean,
yep. So the water is
6 to 8 knots of current that we're dealing with going. And we went sideways in that lock twice, trying to get tied off before I finally told her to, like, okay, go grab the aft line. I got us straight back in the center of the lock, and she ran and grabbed the aft line, but we ended up having to tie on the port side. And while I'm doing that, while I've told her to go grab the aft line, the asshat lock tender is on the loudspeaker going, "Baby, you should do the aft line first." And I was like, I just gave him the thumbs up. I didn't even look at him. The sarcastic thumbs up was all he got. Thanks, asshat.
Yeah, he probably couldn't hear what we were saying in his defense. Maybe he was thinking he was being legitimately helpful at that point. Maybe he felt bad for turning it up, cranking it up on us. Maybe he did.
Nope.
But
I'll never believe it.
Anywho, just to be fair, but we initially, the plan was to tie off to the starboard side of the lock, and so my mistake, I should have, knowing that we're still figuring things out, I should have went all fenders out, everything prepared, all the cleats free, and they were, but I had pretty much only prepared the starboard side. I still had a couple of fenders on my port side from when we were tied up to the dock, but I hadn't fully prepared my port side to tie up by any stretch. So the bow was completely bare, and so by the time we just had to emergency tie off on our port side, so by the time we got tied off on the port side, thankfully I didn't have to run back and put any fenders on the aft end, but I did have to hold the bow line while Tim's holding the aft line. Hold the bow line because we're rapidly moving. We have to constantly give it slack. So, and it's just good practice to constantly be manning your line. Anywho, but I'm holding it with one hand and then reaching with the other arm to grab a fender from the starboard side just so I could keep it from scraping the boat. And thankfully, I don't think that we scraped the boat on the concrete too hard. I don't think we did too much damage, but I really thought we were going to do some serious damage. It was very scary.
Yeah, it goes back to somebody made a comment at some point back when we first started doing this about what was frightening or whatever about being in a lock. And the issue is not the lock itself. It's you are at the mercy of the tender, when you're in that situation. And if it's a couple feet, then it's probably no big deal. But, 14 feet, you go up to the Lake Erie locks, the Flight of 5 and all that. You're talking about, tens of feet, 20 feet, 30 feet drops or rises. Either one, it could be a disaster if the tender makes a mistake or, just being lazy or whatever. and it could be really bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And this is not commonplace. All the other lock tenders that we've had, everything has, been clockwork. It's been smooth, and it's definitely not all on the lock tender. We should have tied off our alpha
Yep.
first.
yeah, there were
So-
plenty of mistakes to go around.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we made it through pretty much unscathed, other than our confidence.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Just to make one thing clear, my choice to do the forward line first didn't have anything to do with her anxiety level. I was just trying to make life a little bit easier on her, and I, honest to God, thought that I could control the aft end of the boat using the motor and the rudder.
Yeah.
Never for 1 second did I think I couldn't, and I will never make that mistake again. That's on me. So that whole incident getting sideways in there is on me. I really wish the GoPro would have been working. We'd have had footage of it to talk about it while it was happening, but unfortunately the GoPro was not functioning during that particular evolution.
Womp womp.
Yep.
Anyways, we fire off the end of the experience by getting yelled at yet again by the lock tender because apparently we took too long, probably 35 seconds.
Yeah, we took too long getting out.
To get out. He gave us the green light, and on the radio he said, all clear, which is standard practice. And then we took about 30 seconds to a minute to reconvene, get everything straight before we exited the lock. No one was waiting or anything like that. So we just, but it wasn't even a long time. Honestly, even if someone was waiting, I still would have taken that 30 seconds to 1 minute. Don't regret it one bit. But he was on the radio again. He was yelling, "Time to go!" Like, wow, that was quite the experience.
I was nice and didn't give him the one finger salute, but yeah. If you're watching this, you're a dick. Just say that.
Don't do it again.
Yeah,
Really?
it's just a dick move. Just a dick move.
But we learned from the experience. Not everything is sunshine and roses out here in this swamp. So
No, and anything you can control, you should keep under your control. Period. Don't let anybody else. Don't fall victim to somebody else's either stupidity or whatever. It doesn't matter. Even if they're not being deliberately malicious, just don't put yourself in a situation where something could happen that you can be influenced by somebody else. Keep everything under your own control.
foreshadowing.
Yep. Yep. Well, we made it to after that. It was all. After that, it was literally gorgeous trip. So completely gorgeous trip for views. Insane.
Yep. As farthest north we got on the trip up here was Nettles Island. We had to go that far out of the way to find a marina on the third night. Or was that was the second? On the second day, we had to go that far out of the way to find a marina. We ended up staying there for 2 days before we left. But so now that we are north of that, we are officially in waters we've never been in before. So yeah. Yep.
I'll just say, Fort Pierce, we stayed at the Safe Harbor, we splurged, and
Yeah.
it was worth it.
It was. We didn't get to experience the pool or anything. They had a pool there. We didn't get to go to it, but we did. I mean, the marina is exceptionally nice. It's Safe Harbor, Harbor Town is what it's called. Very nice place. They have all the amenities. They have a pool. They have laundry. They have, captain's lounge. They have a restaurant that's really good. The food was really good. All of the power, water, everything you need, and they're outside. Fort Pierce is known for the current and the tides being really, really, really vicious, but they're on Taylor Creek, so it's off to the inland side of Fort Pierce, and it's very nice and secluded. Grocery store is a short walk. We were able to pack food. I mean, yeah. But we ended up being there for 3 days because of the weather.
It was the first time ever backpacking groceries back to the boat.
Yep. I didn't buy. There was somebody at the free thing back at the yard left a frame pack there. And I still don't know why they did it. Maybe they just didn't need it anymore and didn't want to throw it away. But perfectly good frame pack, internal frame, really nice, rigid internal frame. Not one of those floppy things. And it holds a lot of groceries, put it that way. And it makes it very easy to carry them. So yeah.
Yeah. So we've been just traveling around slowly by boat and by foot.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys up to where we are now. We definitely have some more stories to tell.
Yeah, I just want to say that we had a rhythm in the yard of, because we only worked on Saturdays and Sundays, so we got up on a Saturday and we did our intro, we did our videotaping of the work we were doing, or videotaping, whatever. She always laughs at me because I'm an old man to say videotape. So we were videoing while we were working, and then, we did an outro and yada yada, and we did B-roll, and it was all great and good. And I was able to sit down and had a rhythm to the editing, and we got pretty good at it. Now that we're loose, and we're free, we got to find a rhythm of how we're going to do this again, and give us just a little time to get used to that. And then we will get back in that rhythm, and we'll find a way to make things more structured.
Yeah, our videos might seem a little bit less structured, a little bit more clunky. Is that a blast off? A blast just happened. A blast off.
Blast. Yeah, it's where we are right now. Yeah, where we are right now. I'll go ahead and tell you, we're in Titusville, which is right across the river, the Indian River, from Cape Canaveral and the Kennedy Space Center. So we've seen a few Starlink launches on the Falcons, and on the 25th, the Falcon Heavy is launching. The Falcons launch from Cape Canaveral, which is a ways away. The Falcon Heavy launches from Kennedy, which is right there. We can literally see the launch pad from where we are. If you go out to the fuel dock, you can see the launch pad. So on the 25th, I think it's at 5:35 or 6 o'clock in the evening, I'll go out there and have the tripod set up and everything, try to get the whole launch so we can show it. But yeah, I'm a complete nerd for this kind of stuff.
That must have been a Starlink satellite.
It's probably
it was a little-
Falcon, whatever. You can hear it now. You can hear the rumbling.
Yeah.
But
Ooh, I caught it out the window. I keep forgetting to check the schedule and see when they're happening, but I just caught it out the window. That's pretty sick.
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Anyways, we've been enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, we're here for our. We paid for a month. We probably won't be here for an entire month. I told you I had the parts ordered for the to get the charging system working again, and the valve thruster went out, so I got a new joystick for that. Hopefully that fixes that problem.
Those are stories for
Another time.
videos in the future. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for, listening to this crazy story of our shakedown cruise. It definitely was one for the books. It was definitely a true shakedown. Some things went wrong, but it's always a good shakedown when you make it out alive and you still got your boat.
Yep. Now we're just running from hurricane season, so stick with us for that.
Woo!
Woohoo! I love you.
Hope you're doing well. And
Wow, man, we almost forgot that.
I know, we're so
Dang.
discombobulated.
So discombobulated.
Hope you're doing well. If you want to keep us going on our journey, send us a coffee over on Coffee. The link is down below. And follow us on Instagram, you guys, over at sovereign.c.
Appreciate it.
Have a good week.
Peace out.
The flowers bloom in springtime, the leaves fly in the fall, but we have one another through the changes of